All right, greetings. So, turn up the video speed. You know, I've often heard from intellectuals, whether the real intellectual or the New Age pseudo type, which has always been around since the dawn of time, that people's critical thinking skills and we're dumbing down the society and But in reality, I think something a lot of intellectuals miss is that yes, most people do have critical thinking skills because it kind of comes with the thing of being a human. You know, I think what you guys miss is one major component. And where am I going with this? Well, this is freedom Phil, like to describe. Yeah, let's get into it. And hey, turn up the video speed. I found a lot of times intellectuals, because they care about an issue, they care about it so much that it becomes their cause, their thing. And what ends up happening is that they don't realize that what they're talking about isn't relatable to the day to day problems of the average person. Yes, these average people that you look down from your ivory tower on, they have critical thinking skills. It's just the thing you're concerned about isn't really relevant to their day to day existence. The world changes. And people say, well, look at the way people speak these days. People have been changing the way they speak since the dawn of time based on what's useful or fashionable. That's just the truth of it. If you go back and look at letters from pre-Civil War or during the Civil War, love letters or just family letters, look at the way people wrote, even the eloquence of the cursive and all that. At the time, that was the fashionable thing to do. It was the thing that people were doing. And as things changed, it went to something different. Now, one would argue if you even look back from today to the 1950s, you'll see how much different the vernaculars were, even the 80s. But the reality is if you go and compare the 50s to the pre-Civil War, what, the people of the 50s were Luddites? Well, I kind of judge the society had advanced quite a bit since the Civil War. So things changed. And in the same way with business, once upon a time, there were horse-drawn carriages everywhere, all over the city. There's a whole industry of people who used to clean up the horse mess and do the shoeing of the horses and all this other stuff, take care of them. There's a whole industry of that. And then one day, the automobile comes along and the world changed. So people changed to what was the next thing that's going along. You have to be relatable to whatever the issue and the problem is that the people have. And if you want an example of wisdom that's been lost over the course of time that I could say, is it relevant? Would it be useful? Is it relevant to most people? No. But is it rather kind of interesting? People who know how to go out into the wilds and forage for wild edibles. How much knowledge of plant life and what happens has been lost just because it didn't make sense or it was useful for people. And so as things change and go along, you as an intellectual have to make the idea that it has something to do with these people. And that's the problem. I find a lot of the intellectuals, they try to force their line of thinking onto the average person. Like let's say the male female issue, let's say you've got some male rights person or a feminist and they're going at each other's throats. Meanwhile, there's a bunch of normal married people that don't have these problems. They're just going about their days. And until that issue affects them, like with male rights, until that issue affects them, they're like, well, you know, why would I even bother thinking about that? Why'd I be concerned about it? It's not that they don't have critical thinking. It's not that they're some, knuckle dragging cave people. It's that your problems are not their problems. But here's the key thing. Let's just say that you realize there's a problem you could solve in the world, hopefully with some sort of invention or something else, or, you build a new polymer or something, and you show the people, hey, this is how this can make this much better. And this actually is relevant in their day-to-day life. So they're like, hey, this guy over here, this intelligent guy, he gets this. He understands our problem. So then you kind of become a champion to some degree. And then enough people get along. And it's not that you made them critical thinkers. It's that your problem and their problem are the same. And now there's a few of you, and then we get enough people, then we have a crowd and a cause, and then people can actually go out and make something happen. And ironically, I know a lot of you don't like to hear this, but it's kind of like that book by the guy who did a lot of great advertising. Dude wrote the book called Propaganda by Edward Bernays. And you got to understand how to sell an idea. And that it's critical to your endeavor if you're going to try to convince people. And this goes whether it's products, cultural lines of thinking, fashion, whatever it is. You have to convince the people that what you're bringing them is worth their time and money and whatever they have. Otherwise, to be honest, a lot of times intellectuals just seem like they're on a tangent. And trust me, I can feel you. Because when I'm like, hey man, simple mathematical way thinking and minimalism, you can be retired by the age of 30. What do most people do? Well, I'll go out and buy everything on credit and then have to pay for it the rest of my life. Yeah, you can't save them all. But if you can get the idea to something to where you get to people, like honestly, when it comes to retiring younger, before they screw up their lives, then you can make great things happen. But the truth is, if you're an intellectual, don't bash your head against the wall when the world doesn't get your ideas. Just understand you just got to find a way to make your idea something that everybody has a problem with. You know, something that, here's the problem. We all got the same problem. Let's all fix it together. Otherwise, you might be fighting for a fruitless effort. So this is Freedom Phil. Always turn up the video speed. And by the way, there's another video you might want to check out. The value of an intellectual. I did this one a while ago. I don't know, a few weeks ago or something like that. And I go over why people used to value more intellectuals. You know, why it was meaningful to be it. And there's a lot of caveman crude style reasoning in that, but it's the honest to God truth, because something is only as relevant as it's useful to us on the day to day. And we got to always keep in mind, if I can get what I want out of society without doing all the hard work, why would I? So anyways, y'all have a great day. It's Freedom Phil. Take it easy.